The future is rarely the sun-drenched utopia of our collective yearning. It is a meticulously calibrated, hyper-industrialized nightmare where the passage of time serves not as progress, but as a mechanism for the absolute crushing stagnation of the human spirit. And in The Sleeper Awakes, the seminal, atmospheric, and lethally paced masterwork by H.G. Wells, the concept of a time-displaced survivor is deconstructed into a cold, tactical instrument of class warfare. Wells, the original cartographer of this smoke-choked, ego-shredded, and logic-defying odyssey, delivers a visceral, deeply intense, and soul-searing masterpiece that treats the act of waking into a different epoch not as a scientific marvel, but as a catastrophic reality-anchoring necessity. This isn't a story of whimsical clockwork adventure. It is a rapid-fire, deeply intense plunge into the logistical nightmare of maintaining one's humanity in a world where the infrastructure itself has a predatory agenda. The perilous collision between a desperate protagonist's search for identity and the absolute unchecked malice of a global-bound entity that views mortal existence as a contaminant to its ecosystem. And the terrifying truth that when you awaken after 2 centuries of slumber, you don't just witness the future, you synthesize a reality-stabilizing buffer against the encroaching, sanity-eroding void. Wells hooks the audience instantly by constructing a high-stakes, hyper-focused trap. A talented, disenfranchised laborer, forced to defend their newfound agency against a series of social and technological invasions, finds themselves bound to a legacy that requires the systematic, tactical manipulation of nature's own unrefined power to survive. The narrative center zeroes in on the protagonist's methodical, high-pressure descent into this century stitching, a state of hyper-rational, history-defying perception that forces them to parse the fundamental reality-rewriting intent of their future-aligned machinery. As they traverse the oppressive, light-drenched corridors of the London Spire and the dangerously shifting, memory-saturated vaults of the world's borderlands, they realize that their awakening is not merely an academic assessment. It is a systemic catalyst that is drawing the attention of the Council, entities that hunt those who dare to master the technology that consumes reality. The investigation into the sudden coordinate disappearance of the city's most radical, truth-seeking architects quickly escalates into a dangerous, high-stakes tactical chess match as they discover that the entire social structure has been covertly funded by the very darkness they are working to keep at bay. Forced to juggle the logistical nightmare of managing a rapidly decaying reality-bending research project, the constant suffocating threat of archival erasure, and the mounting undeniable encounter with the cost of their own burgeoning power, they must synthesize a new way of existing, one built on tactical linguistics, radical improvised rebellion, and an unyielding, purely human refusal to let their truth be redacted by the city's relentless, physics-enforcing machinery. Wells's writing style is unapologetically rhythmic, machine-gun fast, and saturated with an intense, authentic blend of Victorian futurist jargon, sharp, cynical intellectual wit, and high-stakes environmental dread. He builds exceptional structural tension by pairing the mundane, aching routines of survival, cross-referencing tactical shiplogs, deciphering forbidden history-aligned texts, and enduring the quiet, crushing weight of constant, vigilant isolation with the chaotic, nightmare-filled assaults of the Council's truth-guarding drones. The story moves forward with a relentless, momentum-driven energy, turning routine analytical probes, calculated maneuvers through the city's secret, steam-filled basements, and tense, high-stakes standoffs with lethal, logic-warping figures into pulse-pounding steps closer to an inevitable, reality-defining confrontation. The presentation thrives on this sharp analytical focus, making every discovered anomaly, every executed reality stabilization command, and every deep-seated fear confronted feel like a high-stakes victory for the human spirit. What makes The Sleeper Awakes an exceptional entry in the modern sci-fi canon is Wells's unparalleled ability to develop a highly compelling, logic-driven laborer whose cognitive discipline is treated as a supreme navigational asset rather than a tragic, fading memory. Watch as they transform their experience with obscure, time-bound information into a compass, learning to navigate the chaotic heavens to outmaneuver a power that operates with absolute, terrifying precision. As the structural walls of their reality begin to collapse and the true scope of the London danger is exposed, the pacing transforms into a breathless, heart-pounding race to maintain the shred of truth they carry before their consciousness is permanently unstitched by the city's relentless, physics-enforcing machinery. The final act is an absolute masterclass in suspense, delivering a barrage of explosive realizations, shattered paradigms, and a spectacular, jaw-dropping climax that completely leaves the reader thoroughly stunned. For fans of thrillers demanding a brilliant, character-driven, and masterfully paced exploration of physics and temporal imperialism, this book delivers an unforgettable shockwave.